Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat and welcome to our episode. It's Monday, June 15.
Yes.
Ako po si Attorney E.
And this is Doc D.
Dito sa
Usapang Ed.
Season 2.
Yan, papagalitan na naman tayo.
Okay.
Grabe, ang ganda ng set natin. May halamanan.
May halamanan, oo.
May halamanan sa
Bago na
likod.
naman, talagang na-miss ko mag-live tayo.
right,
I was not present last
Monday, we had Dina Ocampo talk about Usapang Learning Progression. And we had Ed Fermin as co-host. So yun, na-miss mo yun.
Oh, may mga nagtag pa rin sa akin, "Hi, Attorney." Teka, si Ed yun, hindi ako.
Pero sa June 29, si Ed na naman ang co-host kasi ako yung absent.
Siya yung wala.
Oo,
Ako naman.
So, siguro hindi nila may isip na ako si Ed. Or si Ed ako.
Hindi ka na may isip.
Parang
Ako lang
hindi
yan.
maisip.
Ako lang yan.
Okay,
so welcome sa ating mga kausapan. Mga,
it's a Monday. It's very,
it's a Monday.
as usual, it's a manic Monday. No?
Ay, mga natin yan, mga usual viewers natin. Pasok na po kayo. Pero, teka, bago ang lahat, nasan nga ba tayo?
Mamaya pa natin sasabihin kung nasan tayo. Kasi surprise show.
Okay.
Kailan mag-guess muna sila. Where are we na ganito, may upuan na ganito maganda, tas may halamanan. Okay, but siguro what we'd like to ask you is, I saw you kasi this morning. Was it the interview that you did with One News?
One News PH.
Oo. Alam naman ho natin ngayon, no, parang in headlines, no, all over social media, mainstream media, itong naging insidente, no, sa ating mga student athletes ng Ateneo.
Yeah, so kaninang umaga I was a guest in the One News PH. I was discussing yung mga legal discussions on the incident that happened, no? Ateneo, si Rene and Divine. Napakahirap mag-discuss ng parang kung very legal yung discussion pero alam mong, 'di ba, in real life talagang we're all we have this grief and outrage, no? So, 'yun ang mga pinag-usapan how outside of all of those yung emotions, what's left, yung then who's liable. So, ganoon ang discussion namin kanina. And it's very hard to discuss that pagka pinag-usapan buhay, totoong buhay ang so nahirap.
But it highlights how crucial the role is of school administrators and school officials, especially for out of school activities, no, which is basically what that team building boot camp was all about.
And ako yung mga ganong discussions, syempre prospective, how do we try to avoid these things from happening again. And it's a wake up call, sabi nga, hindi lang sa school, pati magulang, magtanong tayo, makialam tayo, kaysa ma-surprise tayo, no? Ano mangyayari. Consent is now it has diba, more serious factor, no, in all of these things. So wag niyong basta-basta isa-set aside yan. Let us know all of these things so that we can help in ensuring safety of our students.
Of course, we'd like to extend our condolences to the family of both Rene and Divine. And of course, we're praying for the communities, Ateneo de Manila, Ateneo de Davao, of course, the community in Agusan, of Rene and the family of Divine. So it's really a very sad situation for everyone. Ako hinihintay ko na lang talaga after yung lahat ng mag-unfold na events. So what's the silver lining? Tama ka when you talk about the wake-up call, for all of us, the parents, the children, the school officials, the regulators, the athletes, the coaches, even the athletic association, UAP, for example. No? These are a lot of things will have to be learned from this.
Yeah, at hindi pa matatapos itong usapan for sure tungkol dyan. Because it is education is imbued with public interest. Kahit sabihin mong private yan, and talagang lahat may say. Kaya lang, I don't know, maiwasan ba yung political comments and commentaries? Palagi ko hindi rin.
Yun ang hindi ko gustong
sana wag naman. Let's respect the families, grieving families also.
So we had to we just had to say that kasi nga I saw you in the news and we really have to, all of us in the sector now, talagang may usapin tungkol dito.
Yeah.
Because we all want these deaths not to be for nothing, no? Dapat meron tayong magiging lessons dito. Masakit sa pamilya ng dalawang athletes natin. Anyway, that's our episode tonight. Is not
about that?
Yeah, it's really not about that. No? It's something that to us is very, very positive. It's spinning very positively. No, what we think should be, what schools are doing, so that we can future-proof education.
Yes. So, yan ang ngayon, buzzword. Future-proof. O,
Ayun.
kahit sa sector. Pero, pero yung, lalo na sa schools.
Oo.
No? Alam mo kanina.
At lalo na siguro yung school na ito
yung
should
school
be
na
a
ito.
very good example
Kaya,
of making sure that it will future-proof itself, its education, and the students that are the products of this institution.
Alam mo kanina, looking forward talaga ako sa episode na to. Kanina sa law office namin nag-meeting kami. Sabi ko, gusto nyo bang mag-subscribe na tayo dun sa mga AIs na yan, etc. Sa mga solutions for lawyers. Kasi sabi ko, hindi ko naintindihan, pero yan, paano gamitin. Pero ayokong mahuli tayo. Ma-disadvantage kayo. Kasi although sanay ako dun sa traditional, sabi ko sa kanila, kailangan makasabay tayo. So, law office lang yun. Lalo na sa mga school. So, I'm sure.
Correct.
And that's why I'm looking forward to this discussion
Correct.
also. So, sino ba?
Hindi.
Nasan muna tayo?
Nasan muna tayo. Yun na lang. Oo. Kasi pag na-figure out nyo saan kami ngayon, then that already will lead us to introduction of our very special guest.
Yes, okay. So,
watch this.
watch this.
Oh, so, where are we? Where are we?
Asan ba tayo?
Galing. Of course, we're here hosted by the De La Salle College of St.
Saint
Benil.
Benil,
And we're
yes.
very happy to be here, yes, tonight. At ang guest natin, no other than the President. Okay. So we'd like to introduce our guest for tonight. We actually fondly call him Brother Dodo. Okay. Pwede na ba siyang pakita? O surprise ba ito? So Brother Edmundo Dodo Fernandez FSC is a prominent De La Salle brother and academic leader who currently serves as the president of multiple major educational institutions such as, or including, of course, De La Salle College of St. Benil, La Salle Greenhills, and De La Salle Lipa. So hindi lang isa.
Hindi, isa.
Tatlo.
Tatlo. Kulang daw pag isa lang. Bitin.
Oh, dapat 3 in 1.
3 in 1.
A true product of the Lasallian system. He graduated from La Salle Greenhills before breaking the streak to earn a fine arts degree in painting from the University of the Philippines.
Wow.
Ito talaga yung super natuwa ako nung nalaman ko na fine arts graduate siya ng UP. After entering the congregation in 1989, Brother Dodo rose through the ranks as a teacher, campus minister, and eventually the first provincial superior of the Lasallian East Asia District. Yun. I think that was the first time we actually saw him in action. No? He was provincial superior of the La Salle Brothers. Parang ang tawag doon sa Pilipinas, siya yung Pope.
Siya yung Pope.
Siya yung Pope ng mga La Salle Brothers sa Pilipinas.
Yun ang tawag.
But on top of that, he also has involvements with the CAP, Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines. He serves as a treasurer of the CAP, formerly president of PAASCO. Now he still remains in the board of PAASCO. So on top of the 3 universities and the entire La Salle system, he extends himself to help the entire education sector. So we're very proud and happy to be with Brother Dodo Fernandez.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here and my honor to be your guest in Usapang Ed.
Baka kami guess mo.
Baka
School
kayo
mo to eh.
Oo nga. Bati mo yung mga fans mo, brother.
Good evening to everybody. All those watching from their homes and from their computers. Mga taga Benil, taga Lipa, De La Salle Lipa, and also La Salle Greenhills. Gandang gabi.
Okay.
Umpisa natin
Simulan
sa
natin.
kwento ng Benil.
Kwento ng Benil.
Oo, kasi kanina, ang ganda ng video. No? We were looking at hospitality and luxury management, diplomacy and governance. Parang the programs are,
Very
in
unique.
effect, parang cutting edge. Parang
Cutting
ganyan.
edge, yes. Yes, oo.
Was that really by design?
When Brother Andrew created College of St. Benilde in 1988, it was really it was a night school, a night college for those who couldn't go to the day school of De La Salle University. But then it gained a reputation that this was where those who failed, DLSU went to. So in fact, College of St. Benilde was known as the school sa tafat ng DLSU. But so it took many years actually for the school to kind of shake off that reputation. No? It took a lot of hard work. But in Brother Andrew's mind, it was really a school that was going to be very, very different, highly differentiated from De La Salle University. Even until today, there's an unwritten rule that we will not cannibalize each other. So in DLSU, you have the classical programs, engineering, accounting, philosophy. Here we have the arts. Half of our population are in our arts program, but we also have a school for the deaf. In fact, we have also a high school for the deaf, which we opened just before the pandemic. We also have a school for governance, hotel and restaurant, which in the early years were really the bread and butter of De La Salle College. There was one famous Filipino author who said, Benilde made these programs sexy. And that's where we started gaining our reputation as a school for differently with different intelligence, who come here. So, as you can see in the video, ang dami naming programs, and we try as much as possible to continue that innovative spirit of the early years. Mahirap because a lot of the schools are catching up with what we're doing. But we always question ourselves. We always have that discussion in management and in leadership. Okay, so how do we become innovative? What is innovative for us? So it's very challenging, but it's also very fulfilling to run a college of St. Benilde. We are the kumbaga the little brother of De La Salle University, and
Ganon, little.
so and because our programs are highly niched, we don't get as much applications and as much enrollment. I mean, we have programs like dance. We're the only school that offers a bachelor's degree in dance.
Baka dyan kailangan mag-enroll ako dyan.
Specializing in TikTok dance, attorney. And then photography. We're the only school in the Philippines that offers a bachelor's degree in photography. So our programs are highly niched, and therefore we do get students, but they're the ones that thought about it and chose to go. In other words, it's not as if, ay, dyan na lang ako sa photography. No, these are students who want to be in those programs. But they're not too many. So that's part of the challenge for us. So our bread and butter is really MMA. Multimedia, we're known for that. No, so we continue to get a good number every year. So
How do you ensure yung sustainability, continuity of those programs kung ang problem is so it's undersubscribed, low enrollment?
Okay, that's a very good question, attorney. In our analysis of the school, we have programs that are where we earn, where it's revenue generating. But there are programs, and we know what these programs are, that are being subsidized. So we just need to know how much we need to subsidize these programs. It's those programs that are being subsidized, and we've had discussions in the board. Do we close it? Because at the end of the day, it's not earning. But part of the discussion is that it's part of our DNA. It's who we are. So we keep them. We keep those programs. So
ang sunod na dun actually kasunod is faculty. Hindi may iba mahirap kasi if it's a highly niche program, saan kukuha ng faculty?
For example, in photography, CHED states that your program chair should have a master's degree.
Did you get that?
Saan ka kukuha ng master's degree in photography?
Fortunately, we're able to find, but it's hard. And I don't know if this is the venue for this, but sometimes our regulatory bodies don't understand.
This is the venue, brother.
They don't move fast enough.
They don't understand that, and it's not a criticism.
Yeah.
It's really just we have issues with that. Another issue, for example,
Performing arts.
Performing arts. Dance. Saan ka kukuha ng master's degree in dance?
Yes, right.
It's very, very hard. So these are trained abroad usually, and then we're able to get them. Or sometimes we get somebody without a master's degree, but we ask this person to begin studying. Pinapayagan naman yon. The other regulation that we always they require this 70%, 30%, 70% full-time, 30% part-time. But that's not our identity. The strength of Benilde comes from the fact that we have teachers in industries who teach cutting-edge knowledge, what is happening now. And that's the strength. So minsan, I don't know if I should say this, but let's just be spanked, but we'll do. Let's continue. Right. Otherwise, you lose your identity and you lose your strength. So the other thing I always tell management, get young teachers. So because that's our gift. That's our energy. The energy in Benilde is a young type of energy. So
okay.
Pero yung siguro dun sa topic natin na future proofing, I think that's exactly what Brother Dodo was saying earlier, no? For example, when they actually have cutting edge programs, no? So that they will they move away from the traditional. So but it also has a lot of challenges, obviously, no? And you talk sustainability and all that. But in future proofing kasi all of this that you're doing, or in your attempt to be innovative, then you hit a snag with regulators.
Yeah.
Right? So I think this is your story, right?
Yeah,
You hit that snag.
We're always questioned.
You're
We're always questioned. And as I had mentioned, it's well, we either, if we follow all of what they tell us, we will end up being a traditional school.
Right.
And so therefore, we just take the risk and say, we continue to do it. But we can't have, in the first place, you can't find 70% of photography faculty that you can make full-time because there aren't too many. And these are people who practice their craft and their, so, and they don't like to do full-time.
Teach, yeah.
So, but we do find a few who become a core set of teachers in our programs who become full-time. At the very least, we will do that. So,
Now, brother, let's talk about, so that's regulator side, government relations, administrative relationship. What about maintaining a tradition? So, highly niche programs, pero how do you also maintain the Lasallian tradition, for example? Being loyal to it.
yeah.
Oh.
My short answer there is that your Catholic identity and being a progressive school is not mutually
You're
exclusive. You can be, I think you can be both, but that's always at least with me and in the leadership team, that's always a discussion point. I ensure that we have very strong Lasallian mission offices that will ensure that we have retreats, we have masses, the usual, but we don't force them. But a part of, I think, the students today is they don't want to be forced into something they don't want to do. So you and if you're a school that forces it, you're not going to get them. They won't feel welcome. Whereas if you make an effort to welcome students where they are at this point in their life, and you kind of sort of adjust, that's nice. They're happy with that. So. And
So you think there's nothing is compromised? Your Catholic mission identity, your Lasallian.
to me, others
Identity.
who are very, very strong on the Catholic identity might disagree with me. So, for example, in one of the schools I'm affiliated with, we don't have any haircut inspection, or we're silent about it. This is high school. And
Haircut.
the kids like that.
Sana sa school ng mga anak ko yan.
And it resonates with them. Di ba? Or we allow, I don't know if I should say this publicly, light makeup. Now, of course, that's subjective. What is light makeup? But and the young girls, our senior, like that. They okay, we're allowed to do this. So I think again, to me, others may disagree. I think gone are the days that we force them to fit into a certain mold. Di ba? But again, it's also a balancing act. You need to have that Catholic Lasallian identity. But at the same time, that is reinterpreted in modern day, contemporary situation. So,
I think it's also
Ganda
because
na.
they're Gen Alpha. In other words, it's not as if Lasalle, it's just a question of keeping the tradition of Lasalle, no? But you have a different generation there, so
That's
it's not
right.
as if
That's right.
you should to be able to reach out to them and really connect. Right?
In fact, the young men and women, the students that we have, they're very, very different now. I don't think I can go back to the classroom, and sometimes there are things I don't understand, but you accept them for who they are and where they are, no? That's why it's important to have young teachers.
That's right.
Because the young teachers are the ones that are able to relate to them. So, and the kids now, you treat them as adults. The high school, you don't, in the past, you can scold them, you can shout at them. You can't do that now. They demand that you treat them properly. And so, even for us, we're learning, no? As we accompany them. So I think that's part of being a progressive school. You accept them for where they are and walk with them from where they are starting. Unlike in the past, the students, you make them fit into the school mold. No? So, yeah.
Wala na yung hindi na yung coming from a very authoritarian
Yes,
perspective. Wala na yung
exactly.
gano'n.
Yes.
Hindi na
Yes.
hindi na papayag yung mga estudyante ngayon kung gano'n ang approach mo.
Yung
You'll
dating
just-
binabato
You
ka
will
ng
lose them.
eraser ng teacher. Ako, hindi na pwede. Yung tataasan mo lang ng boses, hindi na pwede yun.
Recognizing.
But that's, I think that's part of the growth of the school.
the school also.
Diba? That's the nice thing. We learn to accompany our students also. And part of it is we need to be flexible and we need to have an open mind and we need to be understanding. I'll give you an example. So in the graduation, we have LGBTQ. Okay, and some of them were asking if they could wear the male uniform. These are males who are LGBTQ. And yung hindi sila pumayag. Sabi ko, well, what's wrong, 'di ba? I mean, that's their identity. And it won't hurt. Especially as long as you ask the parents and the parents agree, 'di ba? So, I mean, those are things that we're having to think about and reflect about. At the end of the day, you need to accept and embrace and accompany the students where they are. And hopefully they grow. No? I think it's important the students see the school as a place where they will grow, where they're accepted.
They're accepted, they're safe, they're
I'd like they're safe, they're respected. I'd like my students to say, yeah, I'd like to go to that school. In that school, I grow. In that school, I'm accepted for who I am.
It's home.
Yeah. So,
Kasi, well, ako kasi ang take ko rin dyan, yung, tradition for tradition's sake
Yes.
does not make sense.
yes.
At that time,
Doesn't
it
make
possibly
sense.
worked.
Yeah.
No, my example was, for example, during the time that you had colegialas, no? Because they were living in campus.
Yeah.
That's why, because they're so protected and they're bawal a lot of things.
Yeah.
But that was the at
Temper
that
of the
time,
times.
right?
Yes.
That's how it was before.
Yes.
But if you will subject the current students with the same strictness
Yeah.
of that the nuns, for example, exercise on the colegialas, it's not the same.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I think those are the things that talagang challenges us and makes, to my mind, the future-proof the school.
That's
Kasi,
right.
for example, don't you think if you will just move in the direction of tradition,
Yeah.
will that not mean, the students will, you lose them?
Yeah.
You will
Exactly.
lose them, right?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, even in the regular Catholic practices, no. So do we force our students to go to mass? We encourage them as much as possible. So, of course, and we have students from other religions that we,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
they stay inside the classroom, and that's who they are, and that's how you respect them. So.
That's a modern take, yung
Yeah.
allowing, opening to
Yeah.
to other
Other faiths. Yeah, yeah.
That's not before. That wasn't
It's
mainstream.
We're more open now.
Oo.
We're more open now about that. But again, some will disagree and say, no, we're a Catholic school. We should insist on on Catholic. So it's really a balancing act. It's really yeah. But again, it's important to be inclusive. Papasok ko yung
Yes,
word
yes.
and concept
Inclusive,
of inclusivity. I think schools should be more welcoming. Our schools, we try to be more welcoming to as many people. No, different faith, different, differently abled. Lalo na sa Binil. We're known for that.
Ko lang. So I'll just step back a little. Like this a tradition, 'di ba kasi nung araw when parents enroll their children to a Catholic school, hindi mo masiseparate yung education dun sa faith eh.
Yeah,
Kaya pinasok doon
Yeah.
for the Catholic or
Yeah.
the Catholicity. Sacraments, doon na lahat ang formation. So now are we saying may mga students na and parents enroll their children only for education and not for
Yeah, I think
Catholic faith kasi they belong to a different
I will
religious
answer that by
denomination.
yes, with a yes. There are parents who enroll their students in our schools because it is a good school.
Yes.
But there are still a lot of parents who put their children in our schools because it is a Catholic school. So, and as you know, no, in the Philippines, the reputation of the Catholic school is it has excellent formation.
Yes,
and it
formation.
gives a good education. So intertwined yun eh. Pag galing ng Catholic school yan, maganda yung niyan, maganda yung education yan. So, but yes, so that is why our Catholic identity and Lasallian identity is important to us. And we do have a lot of activities. We bring our students to Kalinga for an exposure of 1 week. So,
Samayan ako dyan.
yeah, we do have that. In fact, nagugulat ako minsan sa dami ng formation activities namin. So, and part of the joke I say to our formation head is, napaka-Catholic naman natin masyado. Of course, it's a joke, but it's a dami ng activities namin.
I'm learning a lot from this discussion. Akala ko, pag sa yung future-proofing, adapting to technology. But it's also... It's more than that.
In fact, attorney, ang technology is really just an enabler. It is not... It does not equate to being a progressive school. Because it's also attitude, it's also the philosophy of management. But of course, technology helps because it's a great enabler. It's a great driver of educational excellence. So,
But because you're a fine arts graduate,
Naipasok pa rin.
that's siguro I want to ask kasi the fact that we want to say that we're cutting edge and that we really are looking into the future and all that, we're non-traditional and progressive, is the design of the campus,
okay.
Along those lines as well? Because, when I see your SDA, the design is so unique.
Yeah.
And talagang, alam mo yun, parang iba.
Yeah.
Right?
I was in a conference in the US a couple of years ago, and they were predicting that by 10, 15 years, only 30% of schooling will be inside a regular classroom.
30%.
30%. So as we progress, the understanding that learning takes place outside of the classroom gets bigger and gets more. So for example, classrooms learning now takes place in the farm, in the shop, everywhere, no? And that's tied to industry partnership. Of course, you need to have very good industry partners where you actually learn hands-on, and the teaching happens in the workshop, on the street, in the marketplace. So more and more, to answer your question, Dr. Doris, is that yes, learning more and more will take place outside of the traditional classroom. Campus design, in Salle Greenhills, for example, the renovations that we've done ensure that students now have a venue to. So we've opened up a lot of spaces. So where students and even teachers have a venue where they can talk, where they can collaborate, where they can. So it's not just an open space. You encourage them to have spaces where they can learn and collaborate from each other.
Kasi kung so it's ano pala, no? It's deeper than usually sabihin branding, no? Dati ganoon, diba?
Yeah.
So there's really a profound reason.
Kasi for example, I remember
for those designs.
My youngest daughter, when she was in grade 2, she was saying, I don't like my school if it's so strict because I can't use my gadget inside the classroom. There was a time that was not allowed. I want to eat while inside the classroom. And now in the open spaces of schools, you can see they have like lounge chairs, there are mga couch, may mga pillows. Yung mga bata nakahiga. I've seen it in some of the schools which already are adopting something like this. No? And I think that's what they want, right? I mean, to be home and unhampered in how they want to learn. And that we don't nitpick. Parang feeling kasi nila, tayo masyado
Stickler for rules.
Oo.
You have to conform.
But that's what I mean when I said earlier that we need to take the students where they are. Diba? So they don't want to be cramped. Of course, you have to balance it with proper discipline. There should be discipline in the classroom. We still have discipline officers in the high school, in Salle Greenhills, and they still run out. But there's a lot more understanding now of students, and there's a lot more flexibility. So,
and it depends on the level. I think when you are in the lower grades, Key Stage 1, K to 3, for example, then there's a lot of diba? there's a lot of rules that
That's
will have to
right.
be followed. I remember when we form our lines then, no? Pag yung teacher mo, tumayo lang, you will form your line
Yeah.
at the count of 1. At the count of 2, arms forward.
Yeah.
At the count of 3, di ba? You know?
I think that has its value
Yes, there's
early
value to
on.
that, yes.
No? As you try to instill some understanding of what discipline is and order. I mean, you can't
Yes.
have a classroom without any order,
Yes.
din naman. No? So it has its own place. It just shouldn't be over the top. No? And,
Yeah. Or even while you already are young adults,
That's right.
you have not changed
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you deal with them.
Yeah. For example, I don't like too much noise, but outside of my office, there's a student parkway, and I like it because I see the students there. So there are certain times of the year where there's a band. My God, they're very noisy. But I just look at them and I'm there having fun. So that's okay. Ako na lang aalis. So, and they congregate, the students congregate around the bands. Some of them are good. So, I mean, you wouldn't imagine this happening 15, 20, 30 years ago in our schools.
Yes.
So,
Pollution and sa noise eh.
yeah.
That's nice. What about parents' behavior? Is there that's the
Although
usual.
college na siya eh.
Okay.
With the high school.
Let's
pati
say
sa college,
LGH
Ganun
or-
din.
less so. But in Salle Greenhills, the parents are more active.
The young parents.
Oo. They're more active. They're more demanding. But in Salle Greenhills, we see our parents as our partners.
Partners, yeah.
And we've been blessed that in so many years, we've had very good parents associations, no, who've been very, very helpful, who understand the directions of the school, who are and we also listen to them. So of course, they're the venue to know what the issues are. Kasi dumadaan sa kanila. And they tell us, brother, itong issue. And we listen to them. And I think that's a healthy partnership where it's both give and take. So,
Pero very progressive din yung mga ideas ng parents na. Or some
Yes.
traditional pa rin. Kasi marami siya sa parents nyo, mga di ba, alumni from the alumni
Yes,
din, di ba?
yes.
So gusto, minsan mga ganun, no? Baguhin mo yung, sa ibang schools, pag binago mo, halimbawa, yung hymn, gagalit yung alumni. Di ba, very, sila sa
very
tradition.
strong ang alumni namin. Again, I've been very blessed, at least in Salle Greenhills, to have a very good set of alumni association officers. Very deeply helpful, deeply committed to the Lasallian mission. Madali kausap. So, in many ways, I feel blessed with the partnerships of the stakeholders that I have.
What about the entire network? I mean, you were telling me previously that the entire network of LaSalle schools are also doing a lot of thinking and rethinking in order to future-proof.
That's right. We
the
recently had Boston Consulting. We recently hired them, and they've come up with several recommendations, which in fact we are following. Not all of them, but some of them. What comes? And we also had a research done by De La Salle University, which was commissioned by the Institute Commission on Education on the viability of Lasallian private schools. Their findings and the findings of BCG, of Boston Consulting, are extremely similar. And one of the things that they are pushing us is really to do shared services. It says it doesn't make sense for you to be procuring. Each school will have their own program. So we're trying to do that. It's a way of future proofing wherein you come together, see how you can make things more efficient, how you can save, and the lesson is there for us to see. I mean, the NU schools, diba? FINMA schools, that are they all move as one. Diba? So there's something for us there. I don't think we can keep on being independent entities working on our own. I think the movement is really more and more that we will band together and do things together as much as we can without sacrificing the identity and the gift of each of the schools. So that's something that we're trying to explore at the moment.
But does the policy environment allow that? That's a problem. No? Baka, kasi diba, laging gano'n, no? Monitoring, kailangan separate lahat yan.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm hoping I'm hoping that the regulatory bodies will be able to sort of understand. May mga loopholes naman kasi. So hindi naman yung mga
Loopholes.
shared services di naman nila masyadong kine-question and inaano. So but yeah, I think our regulatory bodies need to be a bit more understanding of private schools especially. I said in one conference, we are a highly regulated
Yeah.
society and a highly taxed society. Okay, but that's another matter. But so, di ba? And instead of encouraging creativity and innovation, they stifle. So,
I think highly regulated education ang sector natin.
highly regulated.
Right? Was that a finding of Boston Consulting?
Hindi. Finding, experience ko lang. But, di ba?
Pero in
Yes,
Boston
yes.
Consulting, when they did the work on the LaSalle schools in the Philippines, did they have any finding that is that is in effect affected by the politics in the country?
No, they did not. They did not focus on that. One of the things that I found helpful was they categorized our schools into three. We have flagship schools. Okay, these are schools that are earning. These are schools that have very good reputation. And then we have mission schools on the other end. These are they're the ones that are in the provinces, catering to the poor. And then there are anchor schools, schools like Salle Lipa, who are in the regions and in the provinces. No? So there were characteristics of it. It was something we would never have thought of.
Oh, that's nice.
And I thought it was worth the expense of Boston Consulting. And then they had recommendations.
In effect, it's
Mahal kasi
like
Boston
para
Consulting.
kayong nag-typology
Yes.
ng mga LaSalle schools.
Exactly. So in fact now, because the reason why I'm in charge of 3 schools and Brother Bernie is in charge of 4 schools is because our governance model is clustering. We cluster. And this is done naman by many congregations, the St. Paul Sisters. I think the DCs, nauna pa nga yata sila. So we are reclustering. We are looking at how do we cluster. And there are many ways to cluster. So for example, you put under one president all your basic ed. So that's Bell, Salle Greenhills, or all...
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
very interesting.
That's interesting.
For example, you can put De La Salle University das Marinas and De La Salle Lipa. Both schools are anchor schools in Calabarzon, which I think is also it also makes sense. No?
That's right.
So
Another
there are many
clustering.
ways. There are
To
many
cluster,
ways
no?
to cluster. So we're kind of looking at reclustering. So that's where we are right now.
Pero sa iyo, brother, magkakalayo talaga yun, ha?
Sa akin, geographical kasi. Actually, the model of our clustering currently is geographical. So, akin is East Luzon, kay Brother Bernie is West Luzon.
It's geographical.
Yeah.
Which to me is rather weak. No, it's a weak
That's
kind of categorization.
Oo.
Dahil
Tama.
lang sa magkakalapit. That's about it. No.
So for
Because that's
example,
interesting, if you have one president for all basic ed,
yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
that's-
di ba?
that's all.
And you can
They're
standardize. You standardize your
you're
curriculum.
like a mini DepEd. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I say that seriously.
Oh. One of the options is you can standardize your curriculum. You can have common training.
But you can even do pilots. You can even do a lot of
Yes,
innovation
exactly.
and
Yes.
try to pilot it across. Because all of a sudden you have a representative sample.
The other cluster that we're looking at is one president for all the mission schools.
That's also
Diyan naman,
true.
iba naman ang needs yan.
Oo.
So for example, you have one master teacher.
Yeah.
One master teacher doing Zoom.
Yes.
Zoom classes.
And then
Tapos
i-ano mo na
ano
lang.
sila,
That's right.
di ba? So a little bit like the Bernido.
Yes.
The Bernido model. So
DLP.
our schools have very different needs eh. So
Or even resource generating, no? Minsan magbabangga-bangga pa kayo sa, resource generating from the same benefactors, for example.
Yes. Naku, that's a big, especially during the time of this American brother who was fundraising for DLSU. He was very territorial about his donors na nagagalit siya. But you are correct that. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Brother, your basic ed schools are all integrated? Is that...
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. Not all.
Not all.
Oo,
Because
not
Green
all.
Hills is...
Green Hills is integrated.
integrated.
But that was a long process of integration. Part of the issue with Salle Greenhills naman was the grade school and the high school and the night school had its own subculture. Para kang having 3 schools in one campus. No?
Right, that's
So it was a slow progression. First, we integrated the offices, for example, LRC isa na lang. And then, actually, when I came in, that was the time we integrated into one principal. It does have its own challenges. For example, we wanted a leaner band of administrators, but you can't have one administrator for 12 levels. You know, observing teachers from 12. So there is an student coordinator, an assistant student coordinator to help out. In the end, parang dumami pa yung administrators, but that's okay. So each solution presents also its own set of problems.
Interesting.
So importante in a school, you're always reevaluating what you're doing. You cannot. I don't think you can. Your success now may not be your success in 5 years' time. The solutions you have now may be the problems 5 years ahead. So it's
Earlier, you were saying that you really wanted young teachers, no?
Yeah.
So that they have energy and all that.
Yeah.
Part of I saw the design to ensure that you future proof, no?
Yeah,
The kind
yeah.
of the teaching learning processes. No? Other than youth, ano pa ang what do you have
What do we look for?
Yeah, what do you do? What do you look for?
Oh, of course, competence. Competence, the ability to be able to relate to students, the ability to be as sophisticated as the students. Of course, our clientele, take Salle Greenhills, our clientele, they travel abroad. They're articulate, they're well-read. Of course, you need to have a teacher that is as well-read, or at least is has the capacity to be able to match the sophistication of the students. Otherwise, that's hard to find. As you know, education, the course, the college program of education, parang minsan that's the last resort of di ba? And so that's a bit sad, but sana we're able to get good teachers.
Brother, ako naman ang tanong ko, kanina you spoke about mga internal changes from Boston Consulting, clustering, ganyan. How do you align naman all of these things that you're doing with reforms by government? Halimbawa, well, basic ed, 3-term school calendar, sa college, yung new gen ed.
It does not align.
Ano yung tingin ni brother?
How do I align? I don't align.
Alam mo, we have no choice but to follow them We have no choice but to follow them. But sabi ko nga despite our regulatory bodies, we still exist,
Right.
and we still do well. I have always had that view that we should just help ourselves, the private schools and the Catholic schools, because the regulatory bodies are not very helpful to us. I hope I don't get shot by but that's true, di ba? I mean,
But that's academic freedom in the real sense naman, di ba?
yeah,
For private.
yeah.
For private.
That's right. So yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping that DepEd and CHED eventually will be able to be.
But iba kasi yung not helpful dun sa nakakagulo pa.
Stifle, suffocating.
They're not helpful. They're obstructionists.
Oh, no.
In many ways, diba?
So that's very difficult for you if you really want to innovate.
Kaya nga,
right?
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Off the record, I can rant for an hour. No, not in front of an hour, but I can. In fact, every time, I always have to bite my lip because. Take for example, ito na lang, okay naman if they're not helpful to us. Pero the
Actually.
directions that they want us to do, sana they give us time. Wag naman yung kailangan yung 3-term year bukas. I mean, okay, give us time to prepare. I mean, these are not easy things to do. Or yung strengthened senior high school, di ba? Give us
Or
time
the
to do
grading system that came out first week of June for implementation.
Or the curriculum that came out last week and before the opening of classes.
Di ba? So, okay naman sana yun. Or, when they call for meetings, humihina yung boses ko. When they call for meetings, okay, come tomorrow. Tomorrow? Okay. But I've learned to live with that. I suppose they're good people and they're doing their job the best.
There are constraints also.
The best that they can do. So, but I mean, I hope our government appoints good secretaries. Yun na lang yung
And commissioners.
Yeah.
And commissioners.
Or a good, to my mind, it's
Chair.
really a mindset.
Yeah.
In other words, di ba, what we've always talked about in the spirit of complementarity.
Yeah.
No policies, no procedures, no practices that will hurt private.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not funding private because, you're not supposed to fully fund private anyway.
Yeah.
Don't do anything naman that will hurt.
Yeah.
Right? But, apparently that also becomes a problem.
Yeah. So, this is not a criticism of DepEd and CHED, but it's really just our experience.
It's not a criticism, but it
Caveat.
is.
Sorry.
And not focusing on individuals. It's really that's a policy environment. That's government and private trying to work together in complementary. Pero yung talagang policy environment is really very different. If you're a government, talagang you lack perspective kasi. And that's not a criticism also, but that's the reason.
So, we end up following whatever they want us to do. And we are good people. We try our best to follow them as much as possible. Sometimes maybe the only thing we ask of them, can you give us time? But sometimes they don't even give us time. So...
At saka the students and the parents, they think naman eh.
Yeah.
But they really exercise their choice. Hindi na katulad nung araw na kailangan gina-guide ng government. I mean,
Well, for private schools naman kasi, ang palagi nilang beef is that private schools will try their level best to comply. And then they will see that in the public schools, that's not exactly how things are done.
yeah.
As supposedly intended. No?
Yeah.
So it always becomes,
Double standard.
a bone of contention, that's raised by the private schools. So that's why in an interview, that I was preparing for, because PIDS is doing a study, what can DepEd actually do, in order that it make sure that all of these programs, subsidy programs, etc., will be successful. I said, level the playing field talaga.
Yeah.
Make sure that even while you're fully funding public, make sure that you're supportive of private.
Yes.
And you're being supportive actually means arm's length.
Yeah.
That's your being
Reasonable
supportive.
is
Yeah. Sometimes you get the feeling we are the enemy. Or sometimes you get the feeling we are the competition. We are not the competition. I think I think private and public schools can work together for the Filipino people. And I see a future where many private schools will struggle, especially as funding for these SUCs and LUCs get bigger. You'll just ease out the smaller, especially the smaller private schools.
Parang ngayon bagsak ang enrollment. That's
Is that being discussed now in CAP, in the National Higher Ed Commission of CAP? Is there already, is that trend already apparent?
Yung
Na pababa ang enrollment ng private
we have
higher
not
ed,
discussed it.
given this current problem.
Yeah,
with,
we know we have not, but I think that should be put on the table.
But that's a general observation, lalo na
because
sa
of the
NCR.
energy crisis and the economy and all
Are
that.
you talking about HEIs or
in general?
BEDs?
Both.
Yeah, in general.
Pero
Tama.
HEI is hard hit
Hard hit.
because
Kasi may
of
free.
fee tuition.
Yeah.
Nag-increase ba yung enrollment sa mga provincial schools? For example, sa inyo, bumaba ba yung NCR? Kasi
Salle Lipa,
hindi
Salle
na
Lipa.
lumuluwas.
Ang trend namin is we're predicting a higher enrollment for this year. Our numbers in Greenhills and in Benil, they look okay. So we're hoping that. That's why it's very difficult it's very challenging to run schools these days.
Yes.
So you're always having to look at, okay, how do we increase enrollment? Diba? Plus the fact that our tuition and fees continue to kind of get higher, and so you're isolating some of the parents, diba? So it's really a hard to do.
Pati daw public schools, bagsak na.
Talaga? Pati
Yung
public
first week
schools?
nila, they've not hit their numbers.
Talaga?
Ano
Bakit
explanation?
kaya?
I wanted to ask brother, no? Kasi yung common, I don't know if it's a criticism or
Oo.
nakakasanayan na lang, na sabihin, hindi naman lahat ng schools mayayaman tulad ng Lasal. Brother, can you just
Parang
tell
yun ang
them?
standard eh.
Can you
Pag
just
mayaman
tell
ang
them
school, Lasal daw.
the mission schools of Lasal in the Philippines?
We have 16 schools in the country, and more than half of that are mission schools. We have a school in two schools in Mindanao. We have in the Visayas, and also, Doc, the part of our directive is to have 20% of our population on full scholarship. This is in all schools, Benilde, DLSU. In a sense, it's not money out, but it's also not money in. Okay, so it's down now, but it used to be most schools were up in 18 to 20. It's down now, but still, that's part of the mission of the LaSalle schools in the country. So,
Parang favorite lang na sabihin yan.
parang
For some reason.
yung kwento mo
Sikat kasi.
yung
Masyadong
kwento mo sa
sikat.
Congress pag humihingi ka ng pera for private schools. Bakit? 'Di ba ang Lasal mayaman? It's always Lasal. They equate to it. Di naman pwede naman yung iba eskwela din ba?
Baka ikaw kasi mukhang mayaman.
Pati nung pati yung sa di ba, yung senior rise vouchers. Bakit may mga voucher recipients na nasa Lasal?
Oo, Lasal na
Nagkatutunay.
High tuition.
High tuition. High paying.
Last na to bago tayo mag-end, yung traffic issues sa Salle Greenhills, no? So pinag-iinitan kami hindi naman pinag-iinitan, but
Local
the MMDA is very hard on us. And one of the things they said was, alam mo, optics yan eh. Kung ang mahirap sinisita namin, dapat ang mayayaman sinisita namin. Mayayaman. So, ganun yung impression, 'di ba? So,
Right.
on
But
our
it's sad.
schools.
I mean, you don't do things because of optics. Ano, I really hate that word.
Optics.
Optics. Optics kasi
Performative.
yan. Yeah.
Oo.
So,
So,
ano na?
Oo nga eh. Ayoko.
Ang bilis.
Gusto ko
Bakit
pa,
ganon?
Loti, gusto ko pa ng another 1 hour.
oo nga.
Kasi mga palapit na mga controversial yung sinasabi.
nag-worry si Brother Dodo kanina na 1 hour daw ba mahaba. O
Ang bilis
yan,
nga.
tapos
Actually,
na.
ang bilis. Very
Diba?
nice. Very nice conversation. I hope I didn't say anything that offended anyone. So, yeah.
How many years have you been in the education business? Of course, when you started
Since,
as
when I
brother,
joined
right?
the brothers. When I joined, so, more than 35 years now. And do you know, I still have, to a certain extent, stage fright.
Stage fright.
Madali na lang natatago. Pero when I was young, I hated being in the classroom. So nung nasa young brother, yung lesson plan ko, word per word, sinusundan ko yun. Oo. So it was only later on that I kind of learned to di ba?
Wow.
Benilde recently had a MOA with Miriam. Extensive MOA. Impressed nga ako sa bagong presidente nila, Dr. Lizares. And I was telling her, when my mother was a teacher in St. Teresa's, and then galit siya sa mga madre kasi they closed it. Tapos my mom asked, ayaw niyo ibigay sa amin? Hindi kayo ready. So my mother was so upset. But she loved teaching. Anyway, so she stopped for a while, and the glint in her eyes was kind of lost. And then later on, she was teaching in Miriam. So, and the glint in her eyes came back. Anyway, ang gusto ko ikwento, pinagpo-proctor niya ako. I was a college student, pinagpo-proctor niya ako. And that was my first experience of being inside the classroom. So I told Miriam, sabi ko, I am very fond of Miriam because this was my first
Because of that.
experience of being in the classroom. A little story.
Nice.
So that's a good transition to EdLight.
We have
1 hour Ed heavy.
No, kasi kanina, when we were talking about future-proofing, that's the hour segment, which we call deep dive. Di namin nasabi kanina. That was meant to be a deep dive into this idea of future-proofing. Now we want to do EdLight.
Okay.
So,
This is the part where you get asked.
Yeah, hindi
Wag
kasi,
mo- wag mo-
brother, if you're not in the classroom or in your office or in school, what do you do?
I run a lot. Lately, I picked it up again. In fact, nung Sunday, tumakbo ko sa Manila Marathon, pero 10K lang. And so I run a lot. It helps me focus. It helps me correct the things in my head. I do scale modeling.
Oh, what's that?
Yung mga
Yung mga
Scale
kits,
model.
pero mostly cars and racing cars. I like doing big scale. My hobbies are very solitary. So my running is just by myself. Scale modeling is just by myself. Now, because I'm fine arts, every now and then, if I'm given the opportunity, I go to an artist residency. So I've done 3 artist residencies. It's been very, very good for me, very helpful to me. No? So when I joined the brothers, parang the idea of being an artist was a very sinful vocation. See, wild ang UP days eh. So parang, and then when I did my first
Paano
artist
ka naging solitary wild?
that's part of the ano. Tapos, my first sabbatical was an artist residency in Vermont. And I thought that was full circle. That was full circle for me because then I realized, I have a persona other than being leader and brother. I am an artist. You know? So yun. So, I've embraced that persona of mine. And
Where can we find your works?
Your works. Hindi ka ba one-man exhibit?
Actually, when I came back from Vermont, I had a one-man show at Finale Art File. And then when I came back 2019 from 2 artist residencies, one was in Gunma in Japan, the other was in Keilus in France. I had another one-man show. They're all large drawings. So, yung 2019 kasi nag-pandemic, so I was at yung pagbalik ko ng Vermont in 2010, sold out yung aking sold out.
So, saan pa meron?
Wala.
Interested tuloy,
Oo. Part of my challenge is I cannot do art when I'm working. So I need, it may sound weird, but I need to go on an artist residency kasi it takes up my whole psyche. It takes up my whole So hindi ako pwede yung pipaint ako. Hindi pwede yan. Hindi, it does not work. I've tried it several times. So,
Kasi yung yung dealing with Ched and Deped takes up your entire psyche also.
Oo. So yun. Yeah.
Nice, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm...
Hopefully in the future, you'll still mount another one-man show.
I hope so. The other thing I love to do is walking the Camino. So I
Yes,
did
you've been
the
walking the
Camino.
Camino.
I've done it 3 times. I love being anonymous. I love being nobody there. And nobody knows me. I don't have any
Wala
expectations.
pang nakasalubong sa'yo na,
Hi,
hi brother.
Wala, naku, thank God. Tapos, of course, you make friends along the way. And when they find out you're religious, they're like, oh, wow. You know? And I've made a lot of good friends there. Until now, I'm in touch with some of them. So, I like doing that. The last one I did was last year. I did 1,500 kilometers for 70 days.
1,500 kilometers.
So, I walked for 70 days. I loved it. I'll do it anytime.
Rob cannot believe it.
He cannot believe that.
1,500
Mag-isa ako nun,
1,500 steps lang ako. Hindi ko mabubuo sa isang araw. Kilometers.
Tapos minsan pag nag-iisip ako sa dami ng problema ng school, sana naglalakad na lang ako sa Camino. But, yeah. So it's something I enjoy doing.
Because after when you arrive from Camino, you really look so, diba I told you look so rested.
And very, yeah. Ay, naka. Anyway.
Kanina, brother, bago tayo nagsimula, pansin ko, narinig ko sabi mo, I like to walk. Because you're thinking.
Hindi kasi nag-emote ako kung anong sasabihin ko. It's because nga I'm a very solitary person, an introvert. Nung pagpa-ask ko General Assembly, nagtatago ako bago kasi napapagod ako.
And before a board meeting lang.
Oo, tatago ako, mag-emote ako, sasabihin ko ano. I prepare psychologically. So, but especially for big gatherings, I have to gather energy. Tapos pag natapos, pagod ako. Pero ito hindi kasi I'm among friends.
Yeah, conversation.
Yeah.
Music, brother, hindi.
I listen to music. I play the guitar. I learned when I was a novice. Until now, once in a while I play. When I go on retreat or one time pina-play ako ng mga young brothers dun sa retreat namin. Ako yung gitarista the whole time. Wala nang kalyo, di ba? Pag when you play the guitar, may kalyo yung may. So wala na, so nagsugat-sugat yung but I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Nice.
So I have another
You
life.
have a life.
I have a life, and
You have a life.
that's important. That's important for all religious and for all to have a life outside of their work, outside of their life as as religious. I often tell the young brothers when I was a provincial, do you have friends? Go out with your friends who are not brothers. Sabi ko, have a life outside
Who are
of
not
them.
brothers.
Oh, it will
Otherwise-
enrich you. You'll be a better brother. Diba? And that's important. So ako, I treasure the friends. I don't have too many, but I treasure them. I see them. Pag minsan nafe-feel ko na I'm going crazy sa kakaisip, I go out and see them. It's a very good antidote. So,
Yun pala yun.
diba? I mean, I'm sure you're
So kung nanonood yung mga anak ko, now they
Oh,
would
yeah.
understand you better.
No, because they're looking for you. Your
Students,
students look for you eh.
Oo nga. Actually, I enjoy the anonymity when I go around. Dati ngayon hindi na, they know me eh. But dati, so I
That
hear,
explains why.
I hear what they say.
Yes.
I hear, oh my God. So I begin to understand them.
Oh, that's nice.
One of my sons, sabi niya, yan ang observation sa'yo, he runs all the time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's parang he's on his own. No?
Oh,
So
yes.
that explains it.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. But I enjoy
Okay.
That's important.
I enjoy talking with the kids.
Mic closer daw.
And I always, every time, even here in Benilde, every time I meet a student, I ask them, are you happy here? It's important to me that our students are happy in our schools because a happy student will always be a good student.
Nice.
And
That's-
invariably, they always say yes. And I ask them, even yung mga grade 1, grade 2, are you happy here? Do you have a best friend? Ginagano.
Right.
And I enjoy doing that. I enjoy, it's good for me also. So,
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Parang hindi talaga tayo matapos-tapos. But we should, close
we
this.
went over time.
We'll start with, of course, we will close it by asking Brother Dodo, what would you like to tell all of those right now watching us, mostly from the education sector? Now that
Yeah.
we've talked about,
Future-proofing.
how we can make sure that we future-proof our schools and at the same time responding to the challenges of this current generation.
There are many problems in the country. And I think our job is to form young men and women who will be able to turn around our country. I mean, you just read what's happening, you listen on social media and television, and it's sad at what's happening. But I always think that there's hope. And I think our job as educators is really to ensure that the next generation, maybe hindi na nga sa atin will be able to do better. And many of those that give us problems are from our schools, from our Catholic schools. And so we also, part of that is we need to admit that we are at fault. We are part of this problem. So yun lang. I hope our students will make a better country for all of us and for your children.
Very nice. Thank you, brother.
Parang nalungkot ako.
Ako.
Parang
totoo.
nalungkot ako.
Parang at the end of the day, that's really
Oo.
that's a goal of education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nation building. Otherwise,
Yeah.
nalungkot na nga ako sa dami nangyari.
Right. And every time they have all of this criticisms about Catholic ed, you actually feel that,
Yeah.
have we done right all these
Yeah.
years of,
Yeah.
being Catholic schools in an 80% Catholic population.
Population.
A lot of thinking that we will have to go through.
Baka mamaya iba, problem pa alumni. No?
No.
Di ba?
Oh, but
Oops.
I've met schools like that.
Mm.
They actually have troubles with their own alumni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our alumni in government, many of them,
In government.
hindi naman many, but a number of them. And it's sad, no, when you find, ay, taga Lasal. Okay.
Graduate niyo pala.
Oo, graduate.
I saw the statement that you released, right? You're not a Lasallian if, and then you talked about the values.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anything,
Thank
uh,
you.
thank you, brother.
Thank you,
We'd like to
attorney.
thank
Thank you,
brother.
Doc D.
For this opportunity, we're very privileged to have Brother Dodo with us. From the beginning, talagang of season 2, we already said we need to get Brother Dodo
Salamat,
to
salamat.
be with us.
Ninervyos
especially
ako before
because,
this.
talaga. Because we know na marami rin siyang isi-share na sa Ed Light. No? Because I've seen it. No? I've seen him, and I've heard of all of his stories about Camino and
Yeah.
running and his art, etc. Should be very interesting.
Dami rin akong natutunan.
Siguro maraming magba-brother.
Marami
Tingin
magbabago.
mo.
Please join the
Palagi.
brothers. My God.
Sabihin nila, pwede
Please
naman
join.
palang pa rin eh.
Oo.
Maintain
Hindi
our...
naman
May
pala
buhay naman
boring.
pala, may life.
Oo,
Hindi
oo.
pala boring.
Oo, hindi naman.
So anyway, Please watch our if you just tuned in and
Yes.
you missed our discussion, you can watch us on Spotify, YouTube, and of course dito sa
Yes.
FB. You can catch us yung on demand, no? Ayan.
And then on Monday, we have, ito excited din kami, Congressman Jude Asider talking to
Nice.
us about the revisions and amendments to the universal access to quality tertiary education. I think I got the information that there will be a special session on June 17, and some of the agenda items include this one, and then GASPE also. No, so
GASPE,
kumbaga
elementary,
very
oh.
strong ang push for all of these education reform bills.
Sana tuloy na. Parang
June 17
makakailang meeting na tayo dyan.
Nakita ko na yung June 17 memo
Sana maipasa na.
from the President.
Okay. So,
Okay.
what else? Ako, basta tingnan na lang nyo yung mapagod na ako. Tingnan nyo lang yung aking page. Yung mga schedules natin. Okay, ikaw.
Yeah, tomorrow, I'll be flying to Zamboanga. We're still continuing with GASPE orientation. So I'll see Father Andal. Hi, Father, President of Ateneo de Zamboanga. Okay.
Sige, maraming salamat at thank you.
Thank you very
to
much.
all of you. Thank you, brother,
Thank you
again.
ulit.
Maraming
Thank you.
salamat.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you very
Ayan
much.
brother. Dali lang, di ba?
madali
Conversation.
lang. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Ako po si Attorney E.
And this is Doc D. Pinsan ko ho yan, si Brother Dodo
They're both
Fernandez.
Fernandez. Dito sa
Usapang Ed.
Season 2. Yay! Thank you. Thanks everyone.